So it's decision time. We have to choose between having one of these two players' careers. Today we're gonna do Kevin Garnett and Dirk Nowitzki. This is just having their career, not changing anything at all. Who would you pick and why? Start with you, Rob.
Well, I'm gonna go Dirk. Now I know this right here is probably gonna be a very unpopular pick for a lot of people. Obviously, Dirk Nowitzki, in regards of a lot of NBA circles, wasn't necessarily as impactful as KG, Defensive Player of the Year, everything like that. But Dirk Nowitzki had an insane career. 14-time All Star, NBA champion. We're gonna get back to that, mind you. 12-time All NBA, and also a 2006 MVP. Essentially, he was a demon, bro. He was different. Now, the biggest part about this is going to have to be the 2011 NBA championship. He was going against my favorite team. It hurts me to say this, but he beat the Big Three the first year that it was put together. People thought that it was going to be an absolute bomb squad, something absolutely insane. That's not the only thing. On the way to beating the Big Three of the Miami Heat, he swept Kobe Bryant. The back-to-back champion Lakers swept them, destroyed them, had Kobe Bryant looking completely in disarray. A lot of people like to skip over that fact and just immediately go to LeBron James. And remind you, when Kevin Garnett was on his own, when Kevin Garnett was in Minnesota, he couldn't even get out the first round. This man was pretty much floundering. So, remind you guys, he did all that. 14-time All-Star, obviously first ballot Hall of Fame NBA career. But then you go to his overseas accolades. Then you have the German League MVP in 1999, wet behind the ears, breath still smelling like Similac. Six-time overseas, six-time Euro star. You've been two-time FIBA Europe Player of the Year, five-time All-European Player of the Year. It's just too much accolades for me to even name. Now, obviously, Dirk Nowitzki, he's pretty much a cemented legend in the USA. But then he goes over to Germany and he's literally treated like he's pretty much God. And at this particular point, Dirk Nowitzki can go and play in the German league and still average 20 points per game right now. This man is essentially living life. I'd 100% take his career.
You actually make some valid points. Now, me personally, I'm going with Kevin Garnett. Now, honestly, that actually might not be the popular take either, the Kevin Garnett pick, because who would want to pick the career where you're basically in basketball solitary for however long he was in Minnesota until he got into Boston? Because up until he got into Boston, KG, it wasn't fun just being in Minnesota by himself, you know what I'm saying? But I'm going with KG off the simple fact that just the way he was on the court, his ability to just get in people's head and talk crazy and lead the defense, heart and soul of the defense. Like Kevin Garnett, one, he's one of my favorite players of all time. But two, I think that when he joined up in Boston and got that ring with Paul Pierce and Ray Allen, like that team is going down in history. Now, don't get me wrong, you make valid points about the legendary playoff run that the Mavericks went on in 2011. You said they beat Kobe, and they eventually took down LeBron James. But the thing about that is, a lot of people will just tell you that LeBron James choked, right? Kevin Garnett in his finals appearance against Kobe Bryant, they just were the better team in 2008, I believe. And then I'm looking at the stats. Like I said, he was a better rebounder than Dirk Nowitzki. Defensively, it's not even close. Dirk Nowitzki did average about 3 more points, but that's because Dirk Nowitzki was, one of the greatest shooters of all time, big man or not. But yeah, I gotta go with Kevin Garnett, man, just because I'm a defensive guy. I love the way defense is played. Kevin Garnett, one of the greatest defensive players of all time. I gotta go with Kevin Garnett, man.
I'm gonna have to agree. I'm also going with Kevin Garnett, and that's no takeaway from Dirk Nowitzki. He's a baller. He's a bucket getter. He paved the way for a lot of the European and overseas players we see now. Without Dirk, we probably won't see people like Luka. We probably won't see people like the Joker. But for this topic, I'm gonna have to go with Kevin Garnett, and it's because he's just more of an all-around player. Maybe his offense wasn't necessarily on the level as Dirk was, but his defense, like Tyler said, out of this world, might be one of the best of all time. He was a 15-time All-Star, a 4-time rebounding champ, 1-time NBA champ, 9-time All-NBA, 12-time All-Defensive. You can't look past that. I feel like Kevin Garnett's career, he was more accomplished. And when you look at the history books, you're gonna see Kevin Garnett's name. He's gonna be a name that comes up when someone talks about someone with heart, someone who brings energy to the team, who gets in the other team's face, who isn't really scared of anything, someone who can make a statement, but someone who can also score the basketball, which isn't really all the time. They don't usually go hand in hand. A lot of the times, the voice on the team, the dog, the person who goes out there to make a statement, it's really not one of your primary scorers. But in the case of Kevin Garnett, he could also be that guy while still being a dog on defense. Now, another reason, and we got to look at it like this, is the career earnings. I had to bring this up because you know money isn't everything, but it's definitely something. Kevin Garnett in 22 seasons, his estimated career earnings $334 million versus Dirk Nowitzki $251 million. Now, I'm no mathematician, but I'm pretty sure 330 something is a lot more than 250. And being more accomplished, making more money, I'm gonna have to go with Kevin Garnett.
You definitely can't argue with those points. A couple of things that I definitely do want to point out. I don't think I brought this up. If I did, I have to restate it. Dirk Nowitzki is 6th all-time in NBA scoring. Now, in regards to them actually being NBA players, if you want to tell me that you'd rather take KG on your basketball team over Dirk Nowitzki, no problem. But which career would I rather have? I'd rather be the 6th all-time scorer. I'd rather have a Finals MVP on my resume. I'd rather have, I'd rather be deified over in Germany, and I'd rather be, an absolute legend in the U.S. He pretty much has 2 different countries in the palm of his hand. And even if you go look at the net worth, Dirk Nowitzki is worth $2 more million than Kevin Garnett. So right now, in regards to actual money, Dirk Nowitzki is winning. And again, as you talked about, he pretty much, followed these guys in regards to Luka Doncic, Kristaps Porzingis started the wave. Obviously, Yao Ming played a huge part in that as well. But I just personally believe that in regards to career-wise, which one was more enjoyable, I'm going to have to 100% say Dirk Nowitzki. Now, I get why I said KG, but me personally, I'm going with Dirk.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, you can say that because, like you said, you read out the accolades, him being an international star. I don't know about him lacing him up today and dropping 20 on. I don't know. I just don't know.
Have you seen the Germany league?
I mean, listen, Dirk Nowitzki.
Have you seen the Germany league?
Listen, I haven't, but listen, if he could do that, then he could average about 10 on the NBA team. Then.
No. He'd be absolutely garbage on the Euro League. In the Euro League, he get destroyed. But in the Germany League, different story though.
We talking about the Germany League, bro. Like KG could average 10 in a pickup game.
Oh my goodness.
But nevertheless, man, there is no wrong answer to this. But I think for me, the deciding factor was just the defense. It's something about being known as a two-way player and getting those all defensive teams that really resonates with me. So
I just think that offensively, people look at that a lot more than everything else. Now I get it in regards to which one you'd rather have on your team. I may even say Kevin Garnett, but which one I'd rather be known for, which career I'd rather have, I gotta go with Dirk.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I mean, you gotta understand though. I mean, you praising his offense, but I mean, if KG were to hit one more three a game, they would average the same in points. So it's not like a landslide.
But KG wouldn't have the longevity that Dirk had.
If he could hit threes,
KG played 21 years and Dirk played 21 years, so they got the same longevity.
But what was the quality of the years? Like Dirk, when he was older, was still giving you about 20 and 10 around that. KG, he's pretty much riding the bench for the Brooklyn Nets. Like it's the difference now. It's the difference.
Yeah, I feel like the difference would definitely come in Kevin Garnett being a 15-time All-Star and Dirk Nowitzki being a 14-time All-Star. But then when you start going into the rabbit hole, which is defense, making 12-time All-Defensive team, that's not easy. He even has a Defensive Player of the Year under his belt. I don't know. I feel like Kevin Garnett gave us more quality basketball than Dirk Nowitzki.
Here's the thing. I personally believe when you count all-time Defensive Player of the Year or defensive teams and stuff like that, I think you really bring that up when you in regards to which player was greater. Again, if I'm Dirk, obviously, if I'm Dirk and if I'm KG, none of us are rivaling LeBron James and Jordan. So it really doesn't really matter, in my opinion, who's greater. We all understand they're going to be up there in pecking order. It's really about who had the more enjoyable career. And I think being a scorer, known for being a scorer, having six most points in the NBA of all time, I think that right there is a lot more enjoyable. I'm just maybe it was me. Matter of fact, I don't know because I was a decent defender when I was playing basketball. I pretty much took pride on that side of the end. But I don't know, being a shooter, being that guy that scores all the points, I love it.
If you're gonna put it like that, you make a good point. But me personally, being that I've never been an elite scorer, but I've always been like, if you could play defense, you hold somebody on a team. Being able to get in some guy's head and shut him down, I think that's more fun because when you gotta understand when KG was shutting guys down, he'll let you know on his way down the court that you wasn't gonna make that. You wasn't about to. I know you obviously he would use a lot more profanity, but. Yeah. I think that's more fun to me, being able to shut a guy down and then tell him like you just shut him down instead of like cooking somebody on offense and then letting them know that you're giving it to him. I'd rather shut a guy down because at the end of the day, everybody want to score, nobody want to play defense. But if you can be a great defender and let somebody know, that's fun to me, man. I think that's enjoyable.
Yeah, I definitely see where you come from. It really comes down to personal preference. Again, I just personally would like to be known for the guy that comes in and puts 30 on your favorite player and then leave out.
Well, there you have it. You guys heard our takes. We would love to hear yours. Definitely leave a comment down below. Whose career would you rather have, Dirk or KG? My